Hi guys, this is Lisha from Scarlet Moon Creations, and this is my September wrap-up video where I talk about the last of the books I read in the month of September and my September reading stats. So, I've been participating in Becca's Bookoplathon, so I'll talk about the books that I read and what prompts they fit for that. And was not able to really read much this month for Latinxathon, and I didn't read anything for Space Opera September. Those were the other two readathons I talked about in my mid-September wrap-up. The only book I was able to read that fit for Latinxathon was American Like Me, Reflections on Cultures in the U.S., and that didn't really fit any particular prompt. So it is what it is. I'll read more books for Hispanic Heritage Month, and just because no big deal. I'm a little sad about Space Opera September, but it is what it is. So, before I get into the rest of the books I read in the month of September, which were not many, and before my outfit changes, because it will, let's talk about my September reading stats. So, this video won't be very long at all. In the month of September, I read a total of 6 books. Pages read 1,131. Hours listened 12.5. My average rating was 4.16. No books acquired. I read, I took out 12 library books, and I read 2 owned voices books. Genres. I read 1 classic, 1 magical realism, 1 nonfiction, and 3 fantasy. Formats. I read 2 audiobooks and 4 physical books. Audience, 3 adult books and 2 YA books. Now that's only 5. I had American Like Me, which I talked about already. It's nonfiction, it's memoirs. I don't know that there's an age range for it exactly. I don't think it's necessarily for young children in general, but maybe you should see for yourself. There is talk of racism and how some of the authors, the experiences that they dealt with, racism, colorism, gender issues, and it's not always nice, but nothing too graphic, I don't think. So maybe err on the side of caution for teen and up, but if you have a child, you can decide with them. So, identity. I read 1 book with a gender fluid character and 1 book with transgender characters. There were a couple in American Like Me. And race. I read a book with Asian characters, with Latinx characters, and I put American Like Me down as mixed, and I have 1 other book with mixed characters. American Like Me, as I said, has various authors who are writing their memoirs, and they come from different cultural, racial, gender backgrounds, identities. So it's a mixed bag in that way. Though there are authors in there who are mixed within themselves. So anyway, sexuality, I read a book with a gay main character. Authors, there were no new to me authors, all six books. Oh, wait, no. One, technically, yeah. Back to American Like Me, new to me authors. And now the sun is bouncing off of a car windshield and giving me a mask. So, see if I can sit up. I mean, this looks nicer, but now I'm blind. So, types of books. I read 2 standalones and 4 from series. And last but not least, my ratings. I read 2 5-star books, 1 4.5-star book, 2 4-star books, and 1 2.5-star book. Y'all already know what that is. So, it was an okay reading month. Not horrible. I had hoped to read more, and I had a slumpy period thanks to one particular book, which I didn't finish in this month. But otherwise, it was okay. So let's jump into the last of the books, the last 2 books, now that you know. I've only read 6 in total that I read in the month of September. Okay, so the next book I finished in the month of September 2020 was the first book, finally, in this collection, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. This is the Complete Oz Collection, Volume 1, and I found out about this through Becca in the Books, who is the host of Becca's Bookoplathon, which I'm taking part of this month. So yeah, L. Frank Baum, we all know, made The Wonderful Wizard of Oz, or The Wizard of Oz. I've seen the movies. I'm pretty sure I read this as a kid, like a young kid, and this was read to me, but I don't remember reading this. So once I saw, I had it in my head that I wanted to read The Wizard of Oz, but then once I saw that Becca had gotten this collection, I was like, that there's more than one Wizard of Oz story, which was eye-opening. It explained like all of those Oz TV shows with their weird stories. I was always like, who came up with this idea? Like, why? There's ones where they're adults. There are characters that seem random. Like, people, it seemed to me that people just took the idea of Oz and created their own characters and planted them in that setting. Little did I know, this is the list of the collection. So each collection volume has 3 stories in it. There are 5 volumes. That means there are 15 Oz stories written by L. Frank Baum, which I had no clue about. So I was like, I want to read those, including obviously the first one, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. But it wasn't going so well. I tried early this year and I think late last year, and it wasn't until I picked up the audiobook this month that I actually got all the way through. So this is what I read. This was the first story, The Wonderful Wizard of Oz. And you should know the story, but we follow Dorothy, who is from the prairie lands of Kansas, and she gets swept up in a tornado that drops her randomly in the land of Oz, where she meets many different types of people, her main companions being the Scarecrow, the Tin Man, the Lion, and her dog Toto. You know the story. The thing is, I don't know the story after this. Part of my difficulty with this was there's so much. I mean, there are like little side quests just in the first story, and I am unaware of those except for I think like the poppy field section. I remember that I think from some spin-off show. but their journey along the Yellow Brick Road is not as straightforward as it seems in the original movie, which is what I remember the clearest. Um, the one from the 50s, I think. So yeah, it's meandering. It's not a nonsensical story like what did I read earlier this year? Like Alice in Wonderland. There's a plot. There's a point. They're trying to get to the Emerald City so that Oz can grant their wishes. Um, and yeah, I don't know. My attention kept wandering, and I think it would probably be best if I listened to the rest of this. I just I feel like the strength here is with the setting. Um, I mean, there's some with the characters, but I don't know if maybe I've outgrown this story, so we'll see. But I am interested in continuing to read the rest of the Oz stories. So yeah. Oh yeah. Before I get into the last book I read The Wonderful Wizard of Oz for prompt number 7 or role number 7 with in Bookoplathon, where I landed on read a no. I read the Wonderful Wizard of Oz for prompt number 5 to read a book set in the past, or role number 5, where I landed on read a book set in the past. And yeah, at least the Kansas parts, I think, fit that. So, let's talk about the last book I read in the month of September and the last book for Bookoplathon. I finished this literally on September 30th. It is what it is. But, yeah, I read Blanca y Roja by Anna Marie McLemore. And this was for my 7th role in Bookoplathon to read a book with foiled cover. It's kind of hard to show because the library has this plastic covering. But you can see the letters are foiled a little bit here. But anyway, so this is my second Anna Marie McLemore book. I read When the Moon is Ours, I think 2 years ago. And honestly, this turned out to be perfect. I also kind of read this for Hispanic Heritage Month because it's still that time. Anna Marie McLemore, I forget what her ethnicity is, but she is a Hispanic author, and 2 main characters in here, 2 perspectives, are Hispanic, and their families are as well. So anyway, in this we have a retelling. I'm not a huge fan of retellings, but it probably helps that I can't really remember the originals, so I'm gonna probably reread them. But this is sort of a retelling of both Snow White and Rose Red by the Brothers Grimm, and The Wild Swans by Hans Christian Andersen. We follow Blanca y Roja, 2 sisters that are born in a family where swans come and take from one sister from each family, and she is turned into a swan. So this happens in each generation, and they have grown up knowing that one of them will be taken. Blanca was born blonde with light eyes and has been kind of raised with a calm, sweet demeanor. And then Roja is brown skinned with a dark red hair and has been raised to question things and to fight for herself and others. But they are close, and they want to beat the system, basically. They don't want to be turned into swans, and they want to stay together, and they're trying to figure out how to do that, because it always happens after the youngest sister turns 15. We also have two other perspectives, two local boys, Paige and Yearling, and that was interesting as well. They have their own shit going on. To keep it brief, I don't want to spoil I don't want to spoil anything, but yeah, they are drawn into the whole situation because some things overlap with Blanca y Roja. I keep calling this Blanca y Roja because, I mean, their names are in Spanish. I know the ampersand is here, and I think most people say Blanca and Roja, but it just sounds weird to me. So yeah, this is a retelling, but also, what is that, magical realism. I think I like this a little bit better than When the Moon Was Ours, because there's a little bit more, there's a bit more plot going on here. The last 100 pages like kicked me in the teeth several times. I thought I knew where the story was going even before that, and it didn't, and I kind of like that. And this was set in the fall, so it had all the perfect vibes for right now, in my world here in the Northeast United States. So I probably gave this 5 stars because there was nothing wrong with this. Also, there is LGBTQIA plus rep in this, as well as, I'm gonna say, gender fluidity. I don't feel comfortable saying transgender because it's not stated here, and I'm not an expert. So yeah, this is the last book I read. So that means I finished 6 books in the month of September. I finished 6 out of the 7 role prompts I got from Becca's Bookoplathon, and for the most part, I enjoyed myself. The only book I did not finish was Way of Kings, which was for prompt number 2 to read an audiobook or an ebook. I just checked, and I only got 286 pages left. I've had 286 pages left for like 2 weeks. But you could see my vlogs to see why I'm struggling with that book. It's not bad. But because I've started that 7th book, it does count for Bookoplathon because that is Becca's rule. So, and I plan to finish it. So, I succeeded in Bookoplathon. I have not read as much as many others. In the live show last night on Instagram, there were people talking about they read 14 plus books, 23 plus books, and I'm just like, wow. But yeah. So thank you so much for watching. Let me know if you participated in Becca's Bookoplathon. What books did you read? What prompts did you get? Did you enjoy rolling? Do you plan on continuing? Also, let me know what, if you read any of the books that I mentioned here, the 2, and what did you think of those? And I'll see you guys in my next reading wrap up. Thank you so much for watching. Please like this video if you liked it. Subscribe if you are new. Hit that notification bell so you know when my next reading video goes up. And I will see you guys in the next one.